Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I recently took a trip to Belo Horizonte, Brazil, also known as BH. And if you have some extra time or a long weekend, you should visit this city. In this video, I'm going to share the sites that you need to see, the food that you need to eat, and the experiences that you need to have. Let's get into it. All right, so starting out with the sites that you need to see. Belo Horizonte is the capital of the state of Minas Gerais. It borders Bahia, where I currently live, and a buddy of mine actually calls it the Denver of Brazil for my fellow Americans out there. He calls it the Denver of Brazil because it is very hilly and it is very green and it is slightly higher altitude, which results in slightly cooler weather than the other tropical parts of Brazil. And it is very beautiful. In terms of sights that you can see, start out with Praça da Liberdade, which is this location right here. It's a beautifully lined park. It has trees, palm trees, and it leads up to this beautiful building at the end of this row of trees. What's awesome is if you're here on a Sunday and if you go on Sunday morning, you can find lots of people working out and running, and it's a nice atmosphere to enjoy. If you're not into running, feel free to take a picnic and enjoy the sun and the people who are walking about. If you're into architecture, I would highly suggest going to a different part of the city to check out this church, which was designed by Oscar Niemeyer, the famous Brazilian architect. As you can see immediately by this picture, it is a unique church, a church unlike any church I've ever seen before. And inside is just as gorgeous. I was in awe as I was inside because it felt like a normal church, but the things that you normally see were done with an Oscar Niemeyer twist. And if you're not familiar with Oscar Niemeyer, check out all of his work. He's an incredible designer, architect, and it was really awesome to be able to experience a place of worship that was designed intentionally. You also notice that it's near this lake and this body of water, and the whole area is filled with families and kids. The day that my friends and I went, we heard lots of kids screaming because it's right next to an amusement park. And in this lake, you'll see ducks, other people riding bikes and working out. The overall atmosphere of this place was super relaxing and peaceful. A lot of trees around so that you can set up a picnic or just relax and find peace in this part of BH. If you're into views and you'd like to see BH from above, go to Mirante do Mangabeiras and you'll be able to see incredible views like here. I took these shots with my drone and it was awesome flying over the city, being able to see various homes and buildings and pools, the mountains, as you can see, that make it the Denver of Brazil. A truly special place. You drive to the location, which is at the top of this beautiful neighborhood. So you get to see cool homes along the way. And then you walk 5 minutes up a hill and you're there at the viewpoint. Regarding food and what you need to eat in BH, so this city is actually known for its food. And so I was really excited to travel to this city because I love food. And although I enjoy eating in Salvador, where I live, I wouldn't say it's exactly known for international cuisine. It has its very unique cultural cuisine here, and that's delicious. But BH has more variety and higher quality food, if I may. So you will find cute cafes like this one right here. But most importantly, the one recommendation that I would love to give you is of this restaurant that my friends and I went to called Ninita. It's an Italian spot. It's on the more expensive end and definitely worth it. We had a few pasta dishes. We had a few bottles of wine. We had burrata or burrata, as they call it here in Portuguese. And I can't remember the last time that I walked away feeling so incredibly full and almost disgusted with myself. But that was just because of how delicious the food was. Another recommendation for you, if you would like to eat and try local cuisine, is to go to Mercado Central, which is a local traditional market where you'll find lots of vendors selling various items, but also lots of cheese and cachaça, local alcohol. This here is a picture of cheese that really spoke to my soul. You'll see here that it says queijo meia cura con pimenta calabresa, which is half cured cheese with chili flakes. Both two of my favorite things. I tried it. It was really spicy and it was awesome. To be honest, you can't go wrong with the food that you try in Beaga. I would suggest thinking about what you're in the mood for, searching it online, and there's a good chance that you'll be able to find something that you're going to truly enjoy. One of the popular neighborhoods in the city is called Savasi, and that's primarily where my friends and I ate. So I would suggest looking for restaurants in that area and stuffing your faces. Lastly, the experience that you absolutely 100% need to have when you visit Belo Horizonte in Brazil is visiting the famous open air museum in Inhotim. This museum is incredible. It is, I believe, one of the world's largest open air museums, and it is unlike anything that I've experienced before at a museum. So, allow me to explain as you look at these pictures of the awesome sculptures and arts that are present at this museum. So, Inochin actually sits 1 hour outside of Beaga, and so you're going to need to find transportation to the museum. My friends and I rented a car for the pure convenience. And we also had tickets for 2 days of the museum. And so it just made sense for us to be able to drive there on our own and to get back how we wanted. I believe there is public transport, but that obviously will take longer and might be harder to find. So just something to keep in mind. This museum is in the middle of nowhere. It's on a huge plot of land, and it is well maintained, impressive, inspiring, gorgeous, and all these other adjectives that I can't even think of at the moment. But I walked away from this museum feeling so inspired about what I want my future home to look like, feeling inspired about creating art myself, feeling inspired about the stories that all of these artists were trying to tell with their sculptures, their exhibits, their art pieces. It was incredible. And I left it specifically for the experience part of this video because it truly was an experience. So what's unique about this museum is that it's interactive, something also that I haven't really experienced. So to give you an example, there are various rooms and exhibits where you can play with items. In one room, there were pillows. In another room, there were balloons. In another exhibit, there was a pool. And imagine a dark room with a pool that's illuminated by neon lights. There's two projectors projecting things on the walls, and that's it. Water's really cold. My friends and I knew about this because one of my friends had already been to the museum. And we brought bathing suits and we decided to swim in the water. And it was really funny because people are coming in and out of the exhibit room at all times. And so at one point, my friends and I were alone in the pool in this exhibit, and there was a lifeguard present. And then people would come in, and the look on their face made it seem like we were part of the exhibit. They weren't sure if we were supposed to be in there, if we were part of it. It was a really funny experience, but something that I had never experienced before, feeling like I was part of the exhibit. And we did confirm that you were allowed to swim, so we weren't doing something that we weren't supposed to. But it was an interesting experience because how often do you get to do that at an exhibit or a museum where you feel like you're part of it, right? Or you're interacting or you're swimming. So it was really awesome to be able to do that. And that's just one of many examples where you get to interact and experience the art that these amazing artists have curated for this specific museum. It's a gorgeous place, as I mentioned. Shout out to the landscaping team. So many beautiful lakes and palm trees, fauna. There's little monkeys. It's very well kept. Feels like you're staring at an oasis. So many places just to relax, to take pictures. Absolutely gorgeous and inspiring, and a reminder of how beautiful this planet is. You'll see by some of these pictures that there are so many unique exhibits. Some of my favorite parts of the museum were that the architecture blended in perfectly with the land. And you'd be walking through nature, and all of a sudden you see this crazy sculpture. It immediately took you out of your head and made you feel like you were in a different planet. Other parts of the museum, like in this picture right here, are showing artists that love to incorporate nature into their art, or specifically only use nature. And this tree was so stunning and really forced me to be present and think about what this artist was trying to convey. And my friends and I actually set up a little picnic right next to this tree. We played Uno, and it was an awesome way to experience this art piece that this artist had created. It's a huge place. So one option is to pay for a golf cart pass, which is 45 reais or about $9, and it's unlimited rides. And pretty much there's a few routes throughout the entire museum, which kind of feels like an amusement park because it's well spaced and you have paths that you can walk on. But along all of these routes for the golf carts, you can hop on and hop off wherever you want. And it's really a convenient way to see as much as you can. Part of the reason my friends and I got 2-day tickets was because we wanted to make sure that we could see as much as possible. Overall, Inhotim is a museum that everyone should see in their lifetime. It's incredible to experience and a privilege to be able to see this art that was curated for the museum. I'm excited to be able to go back when family or friends visit. I'm for sure going to try and take them to this museum because I think that they would enjoy it as much as I did. But overall, it's an experience that you need to have. Lastly, and this is the bonus, and just because I love electronic music and because I'm a DJ, BH also has a big scene for electronic music, specifically house music. My friends and I met up with some friends that I had met in a different part of Brazil last year, and coincidentally, that weekend, we were able to go to a show and see local DJs. These are the Solarsi brothers. It was completely packed out in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, jamming out to some amazing house music. I had such a good time dancing. We stayed out till 2 a.m. And I know the party went till, I'm pretty sure, 10 a.m. But the only reason why we left is because we had to go to the museum the next day. But I highly recommend checking out the local music scene as well. Belo Horizonte was a pleasant surprise for me. I didn't really have any expectations. I didn't do any research on the museum or the city itself. I wanted to go in with an open mind and open heart. And it's a place that really touched me. The food, the sights, the experiences was awesome. I was only there for 4 days. So if you have that amount of time, I think it's perfect for you to go and enjoy this part of Brazil. I will write a description of all the places that I mentioned in this video in the comments below. Feel free to check any of those out. Ask me any questions about the city itself if you're going to check it out. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you guys next week.